ورتل القرآن ترتيلا.
Assalamu alaikum. In this lesson, we will be covering the fifth and final category, which is to do with pronunciation. Our learning objectives are number one, to be able to define idlaq and ismat. Number two, to know the letters of idlaq and pronounce them correctly. And finally, to know the letters of ismat and pronounce them correctly. So just to recap, we are studying Sifaat lazima with opposites, which is subdivided into 5 categories. We have looked at air, sound, tongue, the back of the mouth, and now we will be looking at pronunciation. The pronunciation, there are 2 categories. Pronunciation with ease or fluency, which is known as al-idlaq, and pronunciation which is little restrained, which is known as Al-Ismat. What are the definitions of idlaq? Idlaq, which means ease, is the speed, ease and lightness in pronouncing the letters due to the reliance on the top of the tongue or the lips. Ismat, which means restrained, is to pronounce the letter in a way where a certain amount of effort is required. There are 6 letters of idlaq, and the 2 ways of remembering these letters. One way is fir min lub, and the easy way for many students is lemon baraf. The letters are fa, ra, mim, noon, lam and ba, fir min lub or lemon baraf. Let's look at each letter in more detail. So for the letter fa, fa, fu, fi, af, very easy. Ra, ru, ri, ar, ma, mu, mi, am, na, nu, ni, an, la, lu, li, al, ba, bu, bi, ab. The rest of the letters are known as ismat, and there are 23 letters that fall into this category. A few examples of ismat: the letter qaf, qa, u, qi, aq, and you can see there's a little effort needed to pronounce this letter. The letter za, za, zu, zi, az. The letter kha, kha, khu, khi, akh. So just to recap all of what we have learned so far. We have learned in regards to air that air flows and air does not flow. Air flows is known as hams. There are 10 letters. فحثه شخص سكت. Air does not flow is known as jahr, and that is the rest of the letters. The sound falls into 3 categories. Sound flows, which is known as al-rikhawa. Sound partially flows, which is known as al-tawassut, lin umar. And sound does not flow, which is known as al-shidda. And there are 2 ways of remembering this. Ajid qitta bakat or kutubu jaddin tikka, and 8 letters fall into this category. Rest of the letters fall into the category of ar-rikhawa. The next category we looked at was the tongue, where the tongue is elevated and the tongue is lowered. When the tongue is elevated, we call it al-isti'la, and there are 7 letters, khus, dad, qith, that fall into this category. Where the tongue is lowered, which is known as al-istifal, the rest of the letters fall in this category. We also looked at the back of the mouth, where the back of the mouth is closed and where the back of the mouth is open. When the back of the mouth is closed, we call it al-itbaq, and 4 letters fall in this category, sad, dad, ta and dha. When the back of the mouth is open, which is known as al-infitah, the rest of the letters fall into this category. And in this lesson, we covered pronunciation. When the pronunciation is easy or fluent, we call it al-idlaq. And there are 6 letters that fall in this category: fir min lub or lemon baraf. Another easy way to remember these letters. Or the pronunciation is restrained, which is known as Al-Ismat, and the rest of the letters fall into this category. So what have we learned in this lesson? We are able to define Al-Idlaq and Al-Ismat. We know the letters of Al-Idlaq and we can pronounce them correctly. And we know the letters of Al-Ismat and we can pronounce them correctly. Hope you benefited from this lesson. Keep seeking knowledge. مع السلامة.